The First World War. The early 20th century in Britain. Britain was a global superpower with a vast empire, a powerful navy, thriving industry, and robust political institutions. Significant social progress was made, including support for the unemployed, old age pensions, and free school meals. Laws improved workplace safety, prevented slum development, and enhanced support for single mothers and children. Local government became more democratic, and MPs received salaries, encouraging wider public participation. The outbreak of the First World War. Optimism and progress were interrupted when war erupted among European nations. Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination on June 28, 1914, triggered a chain of events leading to World War I, 1914-18. Factors like rising nationalism, militarism, imperialism, and the division of European powers into two camps contributed to the war. A global conflict. Although centered in Europe, World War I involved nations worldwide. Britain was part of the Allied powers, along with France, Russia, Japan, and others. The British Empire played a significant role, with over 1 million Indians and troops from various regions contributing. The Allies faced the Central Powers, mainly Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. The war resulted in millions of casualties, including over 2 million British casualties. Notably, the British attack on the Somme in July 1916 resulted in approximately 60,000 British casualties on the first day. End of the First World War. The First World War ended with the signing of an armistice agreement on November 11, 1918. The armistice officially came into effect at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918. This moment is now commemorated annually as Remembrance Day. Every year, countries observing Remembrance Day observe a 2-minute silence at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the exact time when the fighting stopped in World War I. A similar silence at 11 a.m. is again held on the immediate Sunday after Remembrance Day, which is known as Remembrance Sunday. Red poppy is a symbol of both remembrance and hope for a peaceful future. Poppies are worn as a show of support for the armed forces community. The poppy is a well-known and well-established symbol, one that carries a wealth of history and meaning with it. The early 20th century was a time of optimism in Britain. The nation, with its expansive empire, well-admired navy, thriving industry, and strong political institutions, was what is now known as a global superpower. It was also a time of social progress. Financial help for the unemployed, old age pensions and free school meals were just a few of the important measures introduced. Various laws were passed to improve safety in the workplace, town planning rules were tightened to prevent the further development of slums, and better support was given to mothers and their children after divorce or separation. Local government became more democratic and a salary for members of parliament, MPs, was introduced for the first time, making it easier for more people to take part in public life. This era of optimism and progress was cut short when war broke out between several European nations. On the 28th of June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was assassinated. This set off a chain of events leading to the First World War, 1914-18. But while the assassination provided the trigger for war, other factors, such as a growing sense of nationalism in many European states, increasing militarism, imperialism, and the division of the major European powers into two camps all set the conditions for war. The conflict was centered in Europe, but it was a global war involving nations from around the world. Britain was part of the Allied powers, which included, amongst others, France, Russia, Japan, Belgium, Serbia and later, Greece, Italy, Romania and the United States. The whole of the British Empire was involved in the conflict. For example, more than 1 million Indians fought on behalf of Britain in lots of different countries, and around 40,000 were killed. Men from the West Indies, Africa, Australia, New Zealand and Canada also fought with the British. The Allies fought against the Central Powers, mainly Germany, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Ottoman Empire and later Bulgaria. Millions of people were killed or wounded, with more than 2 million British casualties. One battle, the British attack on the Somme in July 1916, resulted in about 60,000 British casualties on the first day alone. The First World War ended at 11 o'clock a.m. on the 11th of November 1918 with victory for Britain and its allies.